Hello, everyone, and welcome to the sixth episode of the series Military to Corporate Bridging the Gap. I'm excited to have each one of you join us as we explore this subject, which is very, very important in today's professional landscape. If you remember, we started this series in July 2024, wherein we have this episode wherein what we do is that we call upon military leaders who have successfully transitioned to be corporate leaders from various domains. So if you have watched our previous series, we have, we had military veterans who were in the technical vertical. We had military veterans in the logistics and SCM vertical. And the last one was the HR vertical. And so today we have called upon leaders from the project management vertical. And I'm sure a lot of you are quite interested in making a career in project management function. So without further delay, let me first introduce the esteemed panelists. So let's call upon the first panelist. The first panelist is Major Ashutosh Garg. Ashutosh has about 22 years of work experience, served the Indian Army for 5 years in Corps of Signals. Post his Army tenure, Ashutosh has worked with some of the best-in-class global organizations like Tata Teleservices, Ceragon Networks, and Ericsson. He's a seasoned telecommunication professional with experience in project, program, and portfolio management, supported by certification in portfolio program, project management, and Prince2 as well. Skilled in strategic governance, risk management, and people and partner management. His extensive multi-technology exposure includes 5G and cloud technologies. With a global footprint, he has worked across regions such as Europe, Asia Pacific, Latin America, and Africa, enhancing his diverse operational expertise. Currently, he's a technical PMO at Nokia. Thanks, Ashutosh, for coming in, and a very, very warm welcome to you.
Thank you very much, Rimple. It's nice to be part of this series. Thanks a lot.
Great. So hang on, I'll have some questions for you. Okay, next panelist is Commander Rupali. Rupali has about 18 years of work experience, served for 15 years as logistic officer in the Indian Navy. During her military service, she was part of Ops Logistics during Kerala floods in 2018, then handled 2 major cyclones on West Coast, Maha and Vayu, in 2019 and 20 respectively. Post-Navy, she joined EY. She has handled 2 major projects as project manager and has gained experience of handling more than 3 different teams. Over a period of 3 years in EY, she has been appreciated by her stakeholders and leaders as she has received many awards for her work as project manager. The discipline, management, and go-getter attitude gained in the military service has helped her corporate journey, and currently she's manager at EY. Thanks, Rupali, for joining in, and a warm welcome to you as well.
Thank you, Rimple. Thanks for calling me for this session.
Yeah, looking forward for the questions for you. Okay, our third panelist is Squadron Leader Shayana Khadian. Shayana has about 16 years of work experience, served the Indian Air Force for 11 years. During her tenure in the Air Force, she has managed infrastructure and weapons project with a budget of rupees 3 crore INR. Post-military, she has worked in esteemed organizations like Verizon Data Service, Bank of America, and now JP. In her previous roles, she has been a project and a product manager, carrying out project completion worth $20 million. She has also carried out roles of IT project manager in the banking domain. She's a certified network security specialist and a Lean Six Sigma black belt. She has also completed various project management workshops and certification during her role as a project manager. Currently, she is Vice President at JP Morgan Chase, carrying out the role of analyst. Thank you, Shayana, for joining in, and a warm welcome to you as well.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Thanks. Okay, so how it is going to be, audience out there, I have few questions for the panelists, and I'm sure when they're answering these questions, you will get a lot of insight and information. So if you are a veteran who is looking at a transition, you'll get a lot of insights. Or if you are an HR from a company and have joined us today, you will get the flavor of what the military veterans are, right? So let's start with, hey, Ashutosh, I have a question for you. Okay,
Yeah,
so
sure.
let's start with you. So you know what, Ashutosh, when I am, coaching military professionals, a lot of them come for career coaching. And as we are discussing different domains, some of them, because they've heard from their seniors or maybe their colleagues who have gone into the project management roles, and they say, hey, we also want to go to a project management. And I said, good, but do you have an understanding of what this function is? So they give me bits and pieces. So I think a lot of people need that clarity. And since you have an immense experience in project management function, so can you talk more about this function? What is this function all about? And also, what would your advice be for military people who are looking at transitioning to a career and making a career in project management? Over to you, Ashutosh.
Okay, so when you are talking of project management, it's a very, very broad topic. So to consolidate or to summarize it on very small time, it's very difficult. But let me try. So first, before going to project management, understand what is project. So project is any activity which is eventually leading us to complete and to get something which is a product or a service or a result. So if we are getting any of these three things, then that means the activity which we are doing is a project management. Sorry, it's a project. Now, what is project management? So project management is art and science of ensuring these activities from initiation till its completion. That means when we are talking of a product or a service or a result, we are initiating it, we are executing it, we are completing it. So it is having many pieces in which it is been defined. For example, the first responsibility is initiation and planning, where we are defining the scope, that what we are going to deliver. Then we are planning that, okay, what we have to deliver, it's need to be done in 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years of time duration. What is the cost which is associated with it? What is the quality? What is the communication requirements? What is the procurement which we need to take? So all these paraphernalia need to be managed or maintained. Now, when we say project management, this is very important. It's immensely important. The reason being, because of this, we are generating value for our organization. And that is the reason, if you see, you take any industry, whether I am in telecom, whether you take IT, whether you take manufacturing, any industry you are going to take, you will find project management is very relevant. Now, when we say that the project management need and how can we associate it with the, let's say, the veterans. So it is very, very common. Why? Because in project management, we need discipline. We have discipline in veterans. In project management, we need people who can change as per the situation. The veterans can do very easily. In project management, we the person should work pressure and handle. The veteran can do. So when we are talking of project management, the competencies, the characteristics of a veteran is very, very closely associated. So I think for the veterans who are interested to deep dive into project management, it is a very good opportunity for them, because they have the characteristics, they have that attitude, they have that sincerity which is needed to deliver the project and manage the function which is project management. I hope I'm able to answer it.
Yeah, great point, Ashutosh, because, and I agree to the point, because when I speak to the veterans and they said, Rimple, I have never done a project. So I tell them, see, hey, I'm not talking about, somebody giving you a project. And then you said, I said, have you, like you talked about the stages, like the planning, the initiation, what are the resources you have? I think, have you not done that? And they said, no, these things we have done in different forms. So I said, that's what project is all about. So it's the way you put it. And the way you talked about the characteristics, the competency which we have developed, in terms of the discipline, the under pressure, working under pressure. I think these are very, very important points. And I think this is a great message which you have given, Ashutosh, to our people out there, especially the veterans, saying that you already have these qualities. Just go back and think, right? I think that is where they need to do an homework, right?
Absolutely.
Where they have done this. Great point. I'll come back to you for another question, but I'll switch to Rupali. Rupali, your first job after military was at EY, where you're currently at, and which is senior technology consultant. So tell us, it's been about 2 years or so you've transitioned. So tell us, how did you actually go about preparing for, your transition, and how did you get a break in a company like EY?
Okay, to start with, Rimple, for me, the transition journey was not the same as other veterans have, because
Mhm.
they generally get the opportunity of doing a PRC before we retire. But unfortunately, because of the COVID time, and I was amongst the few who couldn't get the opportunity to go for PRC. So I spoke to my seniors. I have interacted with
Mhm.
them to understand what actually they do in PRC, what are the important courses that will help me to settle down in the corporate world. So based on the suggestions and advice that I got from my seniors, and reading going through the environment, how the things are happening. So I did few courses like Lean Six Sigma, Green Belt.
Mhm.
Then I did
Mhm.
the Scrum Master. And meanwhile, I was preparing my resume, and I would like
Mhm.
to bring to the notice of the audience that Military to Cop was one of the platform which helped
Mhm.
me in getting an appropriate job for me.
Mhm.
So I got connected with EY through Military to Core. So
Mhm.
my resume was shared, and they liked my profile because I, being the logistic officer, I have handled planning, procurement, and know the basics of how what all is done in the procurement, what all the processes
Mhm.
are there.
Mhm.
So, but because they were running the veteran program, so they liked the profile and they took me as part of the veteran program. And then I got into the 8 weeks of intensive training on SAP by the
Mhm.
organization.
Okay.
So that was a real good exposure for me.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
learned a lot.
Mhm.
And after that 8 weeks, although I learned SAP, what I could do, and then I did my basic within the organization, there are certain certifications which are
Mhm.
required to be done. So
Mhm.
I did certain things, but somewhere in the back of the mind, I was always like, this is not my forte. I'm made for
Mhm.
something else.
Mhm.
I need to do something which is more challenging. So then I spoke to my leaders within the organization, and they said, "Okay, fine, we'll try test you. We'll try you in some project where the project management is required to be done."
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that is how I got my first break in a
Oh.
as PMO in the organization. And luckily, that project was not going very well, but
Mhm.
the time I entered, I streamlined certain things, got connected with people, uh, brought some changes, what I felt could be of use to the project and to the organization. So it went on very fine.
Mhm.
I work with the American company, and they like the way I project the things.
Got
What
it.
are could be the risk that could happen in the project. So that foresightedness, as a defense personnel, you always foresee what could go
Mhm.
wrong, and you plan the
Correct.
things accordingly. So that is what they liked, and I managed the project very well. So that, and then I realized, okay, this is what
This is
I'm
something.
made for. So
Yes.
I'll continue in this. And then after doing one project as PMO,
Mhm.
I realized that I should be doing PMP. So then I did my certification, which has really helped me.
Mhm.
So now I'm like confident, if any project comes through, I can handle it.
Great, great. So tell me, Rupali, another question just want to ask. So when you were transitioning, and what was your learning? If I have to ask you, what would have been better when you were transitioning in your journey?
Uh, what could have been better is like if I could have been guided well, what
Hmm.
exactly are my strengths? Because as a defense personnel, you are jack of all trades. You know what all
Mhm.
you can do. But exactly what is your vertical, which vertical you should choose.
Absolutely.
That
Absolutely.
is what, if someone could have guided me at that time, I would have chosen the PMO role at the first
Absolutely.
instance.
Great, great. And I was wanting you to bring that point because when I start my career coaching, and this is the first thing which I tell them, any officer who comes to me or anybody who comes to me for transition, I said, first find out your ikigai. That's what I do, the exercise. Find out what you're passionate about, which domain you really want to go. And then you plan your transition. That's so very important. I think a great point, Rupali, which you brought about that first find out what do you really want to do out there. And best is to know about those roles. Hey, what does the PM role do? What the technology roles do? And do you think this is something which interests me? Do a self-awareness, or getting your strengths in place and all. Do your SWOT analysis. I think great point, Rupali. I'll come back to you
Exactly.
for another question. Hey, Shayana, I have a question for you then. Okay, I see that in your previous organization in Bank of America, and that was my organization as well. I left in 2018. So in Bank of America, you were project and product manager. So tell us more about this role in the banking industry. Like people would want to know what is this project manager or a product manager role in a banking industry, and what are some of the skills which you actually acquired in the military which helped you to be a success in that role?
So to be honest, when I went into this role, I had absolutely zero idea how different it would be from the other project management roles.
Mm-hmm.
The assumption initially was around it being in the same format of, initiation, planning,
Mm-hmm.
resource management, time management, budgeting, and all of those things. But again, not having had done any certification in project management and having this opportunity of giving the interview for this role, what I did was I went on different courses that were available online.
Mm-hmm.
Especially knowing that I was not certified in any of these project management aspects. I went on
Mm-hmm.
Udemy, I went on other different portals, understood what the banking domain was all about. There are different offices, like any other organization, front office, middle office, back office. Depending on the domain that you're getting into, is this the kind of role that you will be best suited with? And similarly here as well, when I got the role of project management in the transaction reporting domain, which was a form of control. Um, Again, supporting the operations domain. I then understood that there are different projects involved in operations as well. So there would be different domains, and for that each domain, you will have to have a background in understanding what the operations does, what is the technology team comprising of, what is their working style, and then you adapt accordingly. So to be very honest, you will find different domains and different project requirements.
That's true. That's true.
And I think that adaptability in the banking domain itself will help
Similar.
you get those
Yeah.
skills to different, roles across organizations, across
That's
different.
true.
But the skills, I think, were already acquired while I was in the military. When you talk about adaptability being one of them, we have been working in environments where we are always in an uncertain sort of an aura around us, where we know anything can go wrong in at any point in time. We're already
True.
prepared. We're already thinking 2 steps ahead. It's always plan A, B, C. So I think those skills are already there that I could implement onto the projects that I was working on. Also, when it comes to resource management, understanding, who's available at what time, understanding the availability of people across different continents, understanding their culture, that
Yeah.
also from the aspect of us working in an environment with multicultural people who have
True.
different backgrounds across multiple generations. So those kind of skills that I learned in the military were already translated and were able to help me decipher and plan the project better. So apart from the skills that the other veterans have already mentioned,
Yeah.
I think these were some things that I think were already there, imbibed through the military training. Apart from which, when I went into these roles, to be able to understand my work better. I did a few certifications. I also ensured that I network around in the banking domain itself.
Yeah.
I went and I spoke to people, and this networking comes naturally to us when we're working in the military, because we
True.
work with people across different domains in the units, in the military operations that we are in. So this gives you a field of comfort,
True.
for you to be able to reach out to people to understand their work. That in general helps you translate your work better. So I think networking is one of the main aspects that helped me understand the expectations that people had from the project, and then to be able to build that into the result that they wanted to see.
Great. I think very valid point which you brought about is the diverse culture, right? And for this particular role, project manager role, it's so important because you are collaborating with a lot of people from different culture, different countries. And I think which you brought out very, as a military personnel, I think people who do not know this, that we work with such diverse people all around us. And that's our strength. That is our USP actually. Right. A great point, Shayana. I'll come back to you for another question. But here, hey, Ashutosh, I have a question for you. I was going through your profile and I saw a lot of certifications which you have done. And as Rupali and Shayana was also talking about certification, and a lot of veterans, as I was talking about, I tell them, so what are you doing? I'm doing this PMP. I said, why are you doing it, PMP? No, because my senior was doing it. He said, it is good, do it. So I said, okay, but are you really interested in something which requires PMP? And they're like, no, they said, just do it. So I want you to give clarity to a lot of people out there that throw some light on what are some of the certification the veterans should look at, especially when they're just transitioning, right? And they're looking at making a project management. Is it really necessary to do all the certification before we transition, or there are some things which are good to do and something can be done afterward? Please throw some light, Ashutosh.
Yeah. So, Rimple, see, first and the foremost thing, why certification? So there are two reasons to that. First one is, for a normal person, certification is to acquire some understanding or knowledge about a particular function or a particular piece. But when it comes to the veterans, why certification is important? Because it helps not only first to learn, the second thing is to formalize their skills, or basically to translate their experience. So, for example, I'll say that someone has led a company or a battalion. So what they are doing, actually, they are actually leading a team in terms of the project management methodology. So certifications are very, very important. And since you have asked for certification, yes, I'm fortunate enough to completed many of the certifications. So let's start with the certification with the years of experience. So for example, someone is a newbie who is not having project management knowledge, who wants to jump into project management. So one of the basic certification which is available by Project Management Institute. And by the way, what I am telling you is some of the certifications which are kind of industry recognized certifications. Otherwise, there are many certifications which are there across Udemy, across YouTube. So people can do, but then there are certain certifications which I can tell you which will help you because they are having the industry recognitions and they are kind of valid across the companies. So first, if we are having very basic experience, then one of the certification is Certified Associate in Project Management, which is the CAPM certification. Now, what that certification does, it basically helps person to understand what is a project. Like the first question which you had asked me, what is project, what is project management, what are the various things in that. So it will help to understand the person about the basics and about what a project is. Then someone who is already having understanding on project management, or who is already working as a project manager or assistant project manager, or maybe in the capacity of a project manager, then in order to structure their way of working, their thoughts, then there is another, there are a couple of project certifications. So first one I'm going to say is PMI's PMP, which is a very, very famous and widely recognized certification. So this is the certification which basically talks about the predictive, and now they have introduced even the agile concepts in that certification. Another certification which is very common and specifically used in the projects in UK is Prince2 certification. And the third certification which I'm going to cover up is again from PMI, it's ACP, that is Agile Certified Practitioner. which
Okay.
talks all about the agile. Now, let me
Hmm.
give you a brief that what is predictive. That means something where you know what is going to be completed at the end. For example, if you are constructing a bridge. So
Hmm.
PMP or Prince2 are the certificates which will helpful in that to understand the methodology, the structure. But in case if we are talking about for those kind of projects where we don't know the end result, for example,
Hmm.
when I say and don't know, that means not completely aware. Say, for example,
Okay.
we are working for a IT software related project. We
Hmm.
are starting with something, but we make something which may be very, very different. So the certificate to these manage these kind of projects is agile certifications. One is the PMI ACP, another one is
Hmm.
the Scrum Master. So
Okay.
this is for the project. Now, for the veterans, I will not say that you limit yourself only to the project related certification. They can go one step more. So we
Hmm.
have a next level of certification, which is which are the program management certification.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
in PMI, we have a certification known as program management professional. What is the
Hmm.
difference? When we are talking of the previous certifications, we are talking about the project management. When we
Hmm.
are where we are talking about managing one single project from starting till end. But when we are talking of program, there we are
Hmm.
talking about multiple projects simultaneously which are related with
Got
each
it.
other. Or we are
Got it.
talking about complex project which is having multiple
Hmm.
subset of small projects. So how we can manage, and there are different methodologies which one can understand or one should understand that what is the difference when we are managing one single project, or what is the difference when we are managing a group of projects altogether.
Projects. Got it. Got it.
Then I'll take you one level up.
Hmm.
There is another level, which is the third level, that is portfolio management
Portfolio.
certifications, which
Hmm.
is portfolio management professional certification. Now, what is this certification? The first
Hmm.
one and the second one are telling about the how to manage a project, how to manage a program. But the third certification is basically to help you understand that what are the right projects and programs which we should choose so that
Hmm.
they are strategically aligned with the requirement of our company. It's not that we can take any project and start working on that. We have to even
Hmm.
choose what we have to
Choose.
work on.
Correct.
So that is the certification which will help you to understand and align yourself with the strategy of the organization or the company you are working, and then select those projects which will be the most beneficial for our for that particular company.
Got it.
So my advice to the persons or the veterans,
Hmm.
those who are kind of short service officers who are coming with, let's say, 10 years of experience, they can
Hmm.
opt for the project management and the program management. But those
Hmm.
guys who are completing 20 years of service or
Hmm.
beyond that and who are coming, they should not
Hmm.
only eye for project management, they should be aiming for program and portfolio management, because they are not going to work as a project manager after so
Got
much
it.
of years of experience.
Got it.
So
Got it.
these are there, and then there are some other
Hmm.
certifications. For example, there is a black belt certification. There
Hmm.
are Six Sigma certifications. There are scaled
Good.
agile framework. So there are many certifications which are there, which will be beneficial. Again, based on the requirement, there is a certification which is available over
Got
there
it.
in the market.
Got it. Great, I think. So, Ashutosh, tell me, in what stages did you do this certification?
Okay, so when we are talking about, it's not like that you do 10th and then only you can do 12th and then you
Hmm.
can do
Hmm.
the graduation. One
Hmm.
can do any certification at any point of time. But
Got it.
in order to understand, like there is no such criteria that I have to do PGMP, then I have to go for PMP, or
Hmm.
then I have to go
Hmm.
for the portfolio management. No, there is no such criteria.
Got
The
it.
point is that for the ease of understanding for you, let's
Hmm.
move gradually. So what I recommend, one should go for CAPM for the
Hmm.
basic understanding, followed
Hmm.
by the PMP, which is the next level where you understand of the project. Then you move to the program management, where you can do the program management related certification, and then finally you move to the portfolio management, which is at the top.
Got it. Got it. I think great insight, Ashutosh. I think a lot of people, and it is a great insight for me as well in terms of which you talked about the steps. I was not really aware of that these could be the steps. I think great insight from you. Let me come to Rupali, a little different question for you. We were so used to the life in the military with our afternoon, siesta, probably in the evening, a nice walk or a play. And here, as a project manager, we understand that the role is very, very demanding, right? You may have stakeholders who are working different shifts. You may have in different countries. So you're working in the nights and maybe adjust shift. So tell us how you actually balancing work-life balance. How are you managing it?
So, Rimple, work-life balance is very, very important in anybody's life.
True.
If you can't balance your personal and the professional life, then the person is really confused as to what is happening to the individual. As military personnel, yes, we get time when there are operations, we are focused in operations, that yes,
True,
operations
true.
are there. But when we have a little lighter time, we manage both our professional and the personal life. And I'll speak about the women officers specifically because they have to manage their offices and they have to manage the house as well. The same thing goes in the corporate world, actually. So people are really overburdened with the work because of the demanding deliverables that they have to give for the project. So if the person is totally into the work and not taking care of their well-being, it is very difficult for them to stretch for a longer run. So I ensure that though I am working for more than 9 hours in a day, but I ensure that morning hours, which is my me time, I utilize it for my health, my well-being. So I ensure that I'll go for a walk or for a game, at least for 30 to 45 minutes in the morning, so that I'm like completely off from all other things and just refreshing myself. Just energizing my body, just energizing my mind for the entire day, which I know is going to be hectic. And similarly, I advise my team also to do the same. Let it be the male employee in the project or the ladies in the project, that you have to find out time for yourself. Work will never stop, work will continue, but you have to figure out which space you can squeeze in for yourself. You have to be very particular about time management. If you keep on working on a same thing, on a single thing for 1 hour, you can do it for 1 hour. If you want to stretch it for 2 hours, you can stretch it for 2 hours. But if you can dedicate a time for a particular work, you will be more focused. You will be just thinking about that particular thing and you will meet the timeline. In that way, you will find time for yourself. Just do whatever you want to do. You are good. You feel energized by playing, do that. You feel energized by listening music, do that. You want to read a new book which has come in the market, do that. You want to spend time with your family, do that. You love cooking, go in the kitchen and cook the food for yourself and the family, but divide the time and find the time for yourself.
Got it.
And
Got it.
I must say that I ensure that whenever we are meeting in a project meeting, I speak to them, I ask them that how has been your day? Is it hectic or you need some support? We get into the lighter moments because there's a saying, if you are surrounded by happy people, you remain happy. If you have the surrounding stressed, you will feel more stressed. So my endeavor is like, if my team is happy, they will be more productive and motivated. So this is how me and my team work on a daily basis, finding time for ourselves, finding time for chit chat, and be productive. So
Well,
that
I
is
think, great point. Because time management and priority, right? And that's what, veterans, when I was speaking to them, they said that, we have heard the corporate life is very, very hectic. I said, you have the choices. And choices is something which you have to make for yourself, right? You need to choose what you want, what is your priority out there. and you need to take out time. You have to do your time management. So I said, I was telling them, you will have your phones, your mails, which will coming at 12 o'clock in the night because somebody's morning is happening at 12. So they are sending the mail, or it is morning for us. There's somebody sending the mail. I said, that circle will go on. But that's what I think, great point which you brought, Rupali. Time management is the key for having a work-life balance as well. So veterans out there, it's the choices what you need to make. It's not going to be like hectic all the time, but yes, you'll have those times as well. But then, as you talked about the time management, great point.
But you have to be really vocal about it, Rimple. You cannot be like, okay, the work has come, I'll keep on doing the work. If you have your own priorities, you have to bring it out. You have to be telling that, okay, this is my off time. I'll look into the work, but give me this much time. I'll revert back to you.
And I tell them also, that is what is expected by you also. I said, if you have a team, don't expect that you're sending a mail on a Friday night and you're expecting them to reply on a Saturday. I said, don't expect that as well from that. Great point. Okay, Shayana, I have the last question for you before we wrap it. Now, a lot of organizations are yet to tap this amazing talent, right? And this is military veterans. So tell us, what are some of the initiatives organizations can take to create an inclusive environment for this talent, and not look at military people for those very, very traditional roles like facility and admin only? So what should the organization start doing?
To be very honest, I think I have been privileged and lucky to be part of organizations where they already have programs in place.
Great.
There are a lot of organizations that already have internships, modules available for veterans, where veterans are trained in the initial few months, and then they subsequently join into the roles that they were interviewed for or were shortlisted for. But also, as in the limitation in terms of the viewpoint remains. In terms of, for example, project management roles. Majority of these roles are individual contributor roles. They're not people manager. So I think this is one of the aspects where we need to look into and tap the talent that is already available with a veteran who has been a people manager since the inception or since his commissioning into their particular unit. They have been leading people since they were born in the military. So their people management skills, which is across multiple generations, handling people with much more experience than them, who are reporting under them, people who have just as teenagers joined the military as soldiers. So that experience, which varies in different domains, is something that I think is not tapped into. That can be looked into, and not limit veterans into individual contributor roles. There are people who work in an organization where you put the best soldier for the best job. It's not quota based anywhere. When you send somebody to fight a war, you send your best soldier. It doesn't look into 50% quota of this percent or that. So when you have that talented pool working for you, you need to understand, come from a background where they know how to decipher difficult situations. They know people, and they have been able to motivate their team and have been the kind of leader to ensure that their team is ready to go into the face of war and be willing to give up their life. So that kind of a motivation a military officer can definitely, inculcate into their team. You will see a difference. And also, something that I learned during my management studies was 80% of management studies are derived from military or wars.
Yeah, absolutely.
The backbone of the kind of skills, the kind of learning that we're imbibing into the corporate culture. I think we are already ready and have experienced it firsthand to be able to, translate whatever we've learned into the corporate environment. There are a lot of programs. Yes, there are a lot of requirements for them to be able to see the kind of skills that we have. There are a lot of companies doing that too. But I think the best part would be to already be seeking advice from military veterans working in their companies, to seek their advice, understand what the kind of skill set a particular domain or a service or an experience brings onto the table, and then subsequently, map different fans out of the domains that you would want to shortlist a profile. For example, when I finished my management studies, when the postgraduate PRC program, I
Yeah,
had 4
yeah.
offers in hand. And all 4 of them were from completely different domains, including security, HR, project management, and investigations. So this is an example that I would want to give,
Yes.
which proves that I was not only able to clear the interviews, which obviously took a effort and a homework from my end, because I wanted to
Absolutely.
understand the role in domain, but it also proves that, yes, we do have those skills. We
True.
have to choose at the end of the day the role that we want to perform, the role that gives us kind of satisfaction, and as Commander Rupali mentioned, have that work-life balance that we aspire to be in. Uh, Apart from this, also, if there are no programs already available in the corporates, and there are referrals that you can
Yes, yes.
definitely utilize for your fellow officers or veterans. You obviously have an opportunity to reach out to the HR representatives in your respective teams, speak to other people, veterans working in different companies, reach out, understand the kind of programs they have, how that can be implemented into your organization, or if you have an idea, share that across. The veterans community itself is so large, and
Yes, absolutely.
to be able to tap onto that talent and share ideas for the betterment of the entire community, I think can be utilized definitely. But
Absolutely.
also, I think in terms of not only just programs or initiatives by the corporates, I think it's the skill set that you already have by doing the certifications also does help you. But for me, as a classic example, when I was working with Bank of America, I was not a PMI. I had no
Yeah.
certification in project management. I was still able to crack that role because of the skill set that I already had acquired while working in the Indian Air Force. Also, I did do my homework of, asking
True.
around, ensuring that I knew what the role was about and I was capable enough for it, and then crack the interview amongst, obviously, I believe a lot of
Yeah.
other candidates, worthy
True, true.
candidates. But I think it's all about how you're able to translate the language of what you've
Absolutely.
already
Yeah.
done in the military to how you translate
To
it
how
to
you
somebody
do that.
taking your interview and making them understand what all you've done.
Absolutely. I think fantastic points which you brought about. And that's why, M2C takes a lot of initiatives for the companies and people who want to have programs like veteran hiring programs. So we drive that. And I go for these workshops, which I take along with my colleagues in M2C, where we talk about, and one of the points which we tell there that when you see a resume, just don't reject the officer or the military person. Just take about 2 minutes, 5 minutes, just give them a call and you will see what they are and what they're capable of. I think we had a fantastic discussions. So before we close, let me ask the panelists to say a few words to the audience out there. So audience are our military veterans, and we have HR and hiring managers from the companies also who have joined us today. So how about last few words for the audience, please?
So, Rimple, what I would say that project management, we have enormous potential, and we need people like veterans. My sincere advice to them is that this is one field which they should eye for. This is somewhere where they will definitely get satisfaction of work. So, 4 points which I am gonna say last to them. The first thing which I would say is formalize your skills. The second, which I'm gonna say, is translate your experience, as just mentioned by Shana also. The third one is leverage your network. We are there. We will help you. We will guide you. There are the veteran community which will which will take you to the answers to all your queries. And the last one is, which is very important, focus on your soft skills, because that is something which is important when you are leading a project management or a project management community. So you all are most welcome. Sky's the limit over here. So
Yeah.
just get going in this.
Great. Thanks, Ashutosh. Rupali, how about last few words for the audience?
Yeah, so for the veterans, I'll say that believe in yourself. You have it in you. You can do it. So don't have any ambiguity in mind that how will you settle in the corporate? You are the best person to settle in the corporate easily. So just explore the things, find your strengths, and work towards it. You should have the target and the goal set for you. For the HR people, I would like to say that if you are hiring a veteran, you are doing the right thing. Your organization will get benefited.
True. Absolutely. Thanks, Rupali, for that. So, Shayana, last few words to the audience out there.
Last few words would honestly be sky's the limit. I don't think there is nothing that a veteran is not capable of. You have seen them in scenarios and in situations where they've brought out their best. They are the kind of people who have, through different competitive exams, through interviews, served the military and have inculcated skills that I don't think anybody else would be available with out there in the market. And also in terms of the brotherhood that you will see, the kind of taking care of their team, and then the kind of environment and the network that they've created, I think is something that is definitely required to be tapped on. Also, thanks to Military to Call for this opportunity. And please, I am extremely thankful again for you all to be there and help veterans out there in the community and letting people know that the veterans out here are skillful and are ready to be tapped on.
Great. So with that, audience out there, we come to the end of this episode 6. And I'm sure the message is very, very clear to the veterans. I think it is resonating with all of us, saying sky is the limit. Don't limit yourself to certain roles, find your domain, and then just go for it. And I think for the HR people, I don't have to say too much. It's a very, very clear, why not hire a veteran for any role out there, right? So thank you so much. Thanks, Ashutosh. Thanks, Rupali. And thanks, Shayana. I think it was a wonderful, wonderful conversations. And our audience out there, if any of you, the companies out there need any support in putting a veteran program, please reach out to M2C. We'll be happy to support you on that. And this is the 6th episode. So next month, November, we will come with the 7th episode. So hang on there, and wishing you in advance, everybody, a very, very happy Diwali. Bye for now. And all the panelists, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.